So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to the episode with Dr. Mujajati, we've got a friend from Malawi who doesn't sound anything like she came from Malawi. Her name is Chico, and she's representing a company called devdraft. Chico, welcome first to Zambia.
Thank you.
Welcome to the biggest podcast in the country.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
What's devdraft? Out the gate, what's devdraft?
Okay. devdraft is a payment infrastructure for global businesses and enterprises.
Right.
So what that means is that we move money instantly for people wanting to move money out of Zambia and also wanting to receive money in Zambia, but hold it in virtual wallets in other stable currencies.
Okay. I was looking at the bio that you sent over, and I was looking at you guys are a Y Combinator-backed fintech company solving the pain of cross-border payments, like you just mentioned. Y Combinator. You guys are a big deal.
Not too big a deal. I'd say the founders are a big deal. They did go through the Y Combinator process, and they made it through.
Okay. So what sparked the idea behind devdraft?
So the idea behind devdraft was sparked when Sally, our CEO, actually came to Zambia. She's Zambian. And when she came to Zambia, she was trying to pay for her Airbnb cost, and that wasn't working. And she tried every which way she knew how, but the fees were really, really high. And at the same time, as I say, the payments weren't working. And she thought, this is such a big problem. And it's even a problem I can attest to being in Zambia for a few days, that the first thing you think of two things when you travel, right? You think of number one, connectivity. So how can I have an internet connection? How can I make sure that I can make calls and receive calls? So that's part one. And then part two is, how do I make payments? How do I receive money? And also, how do I send money? Now, we can't help you with connectivity, but devdraft can definitely help you with global payment mobility.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who just noticed that Elson is not here, the guy, I don't know why he's doing this to me nowadays. He will just decide to travel when we have an episode like this one to record. Chico, I'm thinking more, and I thought about this because Elson and I are both business people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's got his own thing going, I have my own thing going, but at some point, all of us find ourselves having to transfer money here and there, sometimes across borders. Is this what devdraft is about? How does devdraft actually work for businesses?
Great.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked that question because we are perfectly built for businesses. So when it comes to devdraft, our wallets for businesses hold three main functions. So number one, it is the ability to receive and store your money. So when you're doing business globally, sometimes you might have a client who wants to pay you in a different currency. And so we have virtual wallets, that's USD and Euro. So the wallets actually come with bank account details. So you can say to your client in the US, here are my US bank account details. You can send the money here. Now, when they send the money, it appears in your account instantly. That's number one. And then you get to hold the value in US dollar or in euro. And that's really important for your business because in Africa, we do have volatile currencies. And so what that means is that you know that you've received $1,000. It will stay $1,000 until you're able or until you're ready to off-ramp that money. So remove that money and then turn it into the local Zambian kwacha. That's the first part. The second part is that we actually have an inventory system, which means if you've got an online store, you can get your developer to use our APIs and plug into your e-commerce store. And so what that means is that when you receive money, it's received into your devdraft wallet and it's stored in those values. And not only that, we also have the e-commerce store. So you can build a store from our platform. And what that means is that you're able to track your inventory and it gives you real-time analytics. What is selling the most? What isn't doing very well? And it tracks the inventory that you have for sale online. So if you had 20 pairs of shoes and you've sold 5, the system will show you in real time that you've got 15 left, right? And then finally, when it comes to the store, let me just touch on the store a little bit. You also have what's called role-based access, which means off of the same wallet, off of the same business, you can have your finance person go in and do audits and move around money, issue invoices, confirm that payment has been made, all of that good stuff. And then you can have somebody for social media also log in. And while they can't move around money or initiate payments, what they can do is look at analytics for what is selling best so they can market it more. And so we call that role-based access, right?
Right.
And so different people in your company or in your business, you can give them different levels of access so that the business can continue to grow and expand globally. Now, when it comes to payments, what that looks like is that if you're working with a remote team in different countries, you now start thinking about, oh, it's the end of the month or it's the end of a contract. I need to pay these people. How do you initiate those payments? You now have to send to this one's bank in this country and this one's bank in this country. And then you've got a payment that got lost or a payment that got held up or somebody wants PayPal and the fees are very different. Mm-hmm. With devdraft, you can actually get all of them to get a devdraft wallet. And then you transfer the money from your devdraft wallet to theirs and it appears in their wallet within 30 seconds. And the best part is the fees.
Regardless of where they are on the planet.
Regardless of where they are
and the
on the planet. And the fees, they're less than 2.5%. So it's actually so much cheaper for businesses to do global business. And so we call ourselves the Global Cross-Border Business Bank of Africa.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, this simply means I no longer have to queue up at the mall for some, I won't mention the company names, but one of them has a yellow logo with quite high fees.
Yes.
We are eliminating the pain first of me being in a queue to send somebody money who's halfway across the world.
That's absolutely.
And also you're saving me a lot of money because you said it's only what, 2% of the total
2.5%, yeah.
of the total amount that I'm sending.
Yes, that's correct.
Wow. That already sort of answers the next question I had. Like, who stands to benefit from using devdraft in Africa?
Yeah. So when it comes to who stands to benefit, you have to. When it comes to who stands to benefit, you actually have to look at it on both ends of the spectrum, right? So on the individual end, you're thinking about people who live in the diaspora and want to send money to their relatives in Africa. They can do that by opening a devdraft wallet and then getting their relatives to open a devdraft wallet so that they can move money. That's number one. And then whoever is receiving the money in Zambia can actually off-ramp that money into their Airtel money. So, or their mobile money. That's number one. And then number two, you think about businesses, small to medium enterprises, and then large corporations, right? So what that means is that for businesses, they're able to receive money from outside, but they're also able to transact that money globally. When you receive money as a business person into your devdraft wallet, it's not just about I've received the money, now I can only send it within Africa. It's that there is greater mobility on those global wallets and on those virtual bank accounts. So you can send that money to any account in the world. That's number one. And then also you can have that money and withdraw it to a lot of countries in the world when you're ready to use it as a business. So that really helps, like with cash flow disruptions and also protecting the value of your money. That's for businesses. Then I want to turn to creatives as well, because creatives, they've got a real transparency gap. You'll find a graphic designer sitting here in Zambia.
That guy in the corner there.
That guy in the corner here has been contracted by, let's say, BBC, for example. And they're like, okay, you do this work for us. We'll do the first 50% payment, right? And then they tell him, oh, the payment finances making the payment, you receive the money. 7 days is going by. 21 days is going by. You're still not receiving the money. You're now following up with finance and you're not even sure if the payment was actually done. Whereas if you have a Euro wallet or if you have a USD wallet and you've got those details, you send them and then you should receive the money in a shorter space of time. Right? So there's really that like global access. And then there's also that transparency. The fact that you said you initiated the payment today, you're in the US, my bank account details are US based, right? So 24 hours maximum, that money should be in your wallet. And then from there, you can actually move the money around and our delivery times are from 30 seconds to 3 minutes maximum to any account in the world.
Wow. Interesting. I read from your bio. There was what do you call it? Stable coin.
Yes, that's correct.
What's that?
Okay.
And why stable coin backed wallets? What are they? Break it down like you're teaching dummies.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
So when it comes to stablecoin backed wallets, I'm going to say a lot of people get finicky when they hear about blockchain, right? Because they're like, oh, okay, now we're trading cryptocurrency. And that's not what we're doing. We're not a trading platform. We're a global payments platform that relies on blockchain technology to move money at lightning quick speeds. So the speeds you won't get with the bank, those are the speeds that we're offering. But we're also not offering them on any volatile coin. Stable coin, specifically USDC and Euro C, are pegged to the US dollar and they're pegged to the euro. So they're stable, they're not volatile. So that's where it's really, really important. It is money moved on blockchain technology, but it's moved with coins that are stable because legally they are pegged one-on-one to the dollar. So if you have 50 USDC, you have 50 US dollars. And these stable coins have now been locked by law, so they maintain their value. And so that's where we're moving money. And as I said, we're not trading. So you can't get your devdraft wallet and think, oh, I'll move today or I'll move money the next day, USDC,
Right.
Euro C, and I'll make a profit. That's not how it works. But we are using blockchain technology and stable coin wallets specifically to move money quickly and maintain the value of your money so that it's not volatile for creatives, for individuals, for enterprises, for small to medium businesses.
It's interesting. And then there's the Tech Expo happening.
Yes.
This is in Lusaka, right?
Of course.
Tell us more about
Yes,
the Tech Expo in Lusaka and what can we expect from the Tech Expo?
Okay, so we're going to be at the Tech Expo. If you hear this and you're very interested and you're like, wow, I want to see a demo. I want to meet the team. I want to understand what they're doing. I want to understand the solutions that they have for me as an individual or me as a creative or me as an enterprise. We're going to be at the Tech Expo at booth 21 to 22. And we're just going to be doing demos. It is a fintech expo, so we're going to be there. We might be part of a panel and explain our product a bit more, but you can definitely come meet me, ask me some questions, come meet our team so that we can tell you how you can do global business.
Chico, thanks a lot for coming through. And I'm sure like many people viewing this, like me, are still questioning how you're from Malawi with this accent. Anywho, Chico, thanks for coming through, and we hope to learn more from devdraft and the Tech Expo and get to use it. I'm sure you're going to sign me up and show me how all of this works, right?
Yeah, definitely. So if you do want to sign up, you can visit us at www.devdraft.ai, and the process is very easy. You sign up, you've got yourself a wallet, and then you can transact globally.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you so much.
Now let's get to today's episode. Gob, roll the intro.
Getting paid globally shouldn't be complicated, but for freelancers, startups, and even large enterprises, it often is. Delays, high fees, tools that don't scale or serve your region. devdraft is your modern global payment platform. Create payment links, issue invoices, receive, send, and convert multiple currencies in seconds. Access virtual USD and Euro bank accounts. Integrate devdraft with ease into e-commerce tools using SDKs. Fast, borderless, built for scale. devdraft, bringing global payments to you.
هل وصلت بالفعل؟ أنا على وشك النزول من الطائرة. هل نسيت الخطة مرة أخرى؟ دعني أكررها لك مرة أخرى.
Yes, that's right.
أولاً سنقوم بتسجيل الدخول إلى الفندق. لا تنسى طلب وجبة الإفطار للغد من مكتب الاستقبال. في اليوم الثاني سنذهب لتذوق المأكولات المحلية والقيام ببعض التسوق.
Tan 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 tan. 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 Tan 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 tan.
We've this guest we have this week we've had before, and it was an amazing episode. And we'll come to the reintroduction in a little bit. Special shout out first to our sponsors, people making this podcast episode possible. Special shout out to it's family actually now, Big Tree, and the products that they give us as Brothers Mocktails. If you haven't yet tried their Brothers Mocktails, please feel free to go to the nearest supermarket, get yourself one. There's 4 amazing flavors that they have. There's a pina colada, there's a strawberry lime crisp, there's a Cosmo, and of course the mojito. And what's wrong now?
Sound is muffled.
Something is too loud. And now? It's better now?
Yes.
So these were too loud. Okay, I think we'll do without them then. Yeah, all right. All right, so go again.
Take 2. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and change.
Okay, cool. So the guest that we have today is no stranger to That Z podcast. He's been here once, and we had an amazing episode with him. But I'll come back to him in just a sec. I need to let you know about... Are we okay with sound now, Virgin? Good. We had a bit of an issue. Sorry about that. So I was talking about the flavors. So we have the pina colada. We've got strawberry lime crisp. We've got Cosmo. And of course, our personal favorite, Elson and I, the mojito. All of them are good. But some, your favorite may change with time. I started off with pina colada, then I sort of started leaning towards the mojito, and here I am today. Also, big shout out to Techno with their Cameron 40. The Spark is coming out soon. Look out for more details in the advert that comes before this episode. Is it after this introduction? Sorry. Anywho, moving on to our guest this week, Dr. Aaaron Mujajati. Do you call yourself the king, the leader of the water tribe? Is there a title to it?
I'm actually the chief of the
The chief of the water tribe.
Yeah.
I was happy when I came to your office last week.
Yeah.
For those of you who've never been to Dr. Mujajati's office, there's a photo right above where he sits of a guy. Virgin, I'm going to give you this photo. You put it in the episode. There's a guy inside a watermelon and another guy standing outside the watermelon. You know how they do these Photoshop things? Drinking water. So these are things that you believe in so much, the watermelon and the water.
Yeah.
But the watermelon, of course, you've got your reasons. It's the white in the watermelon, you say?
Yes. Basically, everything except the green skin.
Everything is good.
Everything.
For men.
Specifically for men.
What does the red part do for me?
So, of course, it has water, minerals. However, the white part contains a very interesting chemical that improves blood flow. And with the improvement of blood flow, you know that a good erection relies on good blood flow.
Blood flow, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what the watermelon does for you.
Okay. Look at people looking more...
You went so quiet, bro. What happened?
I was looking at the facial expressions in the studio, and everyone's looking at you like, okay. With the women, of course, looking at it like, should I even be eating watermelons right now? Doc, looking at your social media posts the past few weeks, I've got so many questions, and also you've got a radio show now.
Yes, I do. We have a show called The Doctor and You on Hot FM.
Right.
It's been running now for, I think today we did our... was it 7th or 8th show?
Okay. So much has happened from the last time we had you on the podcast. I mean, CarePeak is now going to be a household name.
Hopefully.
On the way.
Hopefully, yeah.
Tell us more about CarePeak before we proceed.
Right. So CarePeak is an outpatient facility. We treat all manner of illness, but mainly on outpatient basis. So we have general consultation. We also have specialist consultation. For specialist consultation, this will be very interesting for you. We have a clinic specifically designed for men. Men don't like going to hospitals. So we've designed a clinic that handles men's problems. It's a safe space, no judgment. You can come in as a man and talk about your issues freely because we expect you to, talk about your issues there. So we have a obs and gynae clinic, orthopedics clinic, We also have diabetes and hypertension clinics,
Urology. no?
urology, HIV clinics,
Okay.
TB, and things like that. But also, in addition to providing health services on site where you come into the office, see the doctor the way you came visiting and things like that,
Yeah.
we also now
Be
have...
specific what I was doing there. Because people start making
Oh,
assumptions now.
you didn't come to consult. You just came to greet me, actually.
Yes. Before people start making assumptions. I mean, you've mentioned so many things. I don't want to be caught up in all. So this guy.
Right. So you can walk in physically to see a doctor to obtain any service. But we also have what we call telemedicine, where you can consult a doctor in the comfort of your home, book online, and the doctor will see you online. Yeah.
Oh.
And then if you need drugs, the drugs can be brought to your home.
Wait, see me online like a WhatsApp
on your
video.
laptop, via video enabled, yes. And then I'd also be able to examine you online.
How do you do this?
Well, there's a technology that we have now. We partnered with a group from Finland that enabled us to do that technology.
So you mean to tell me through that camera, you're able to check
Yes.
temperature?
Heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen saturation. I can listen to your heart. I can listen to your lungs.
Wait, we're online and you're getting all these things?
Yes. I can do all those
Wow.
things. Yeah.
Okay, now I want to see how this works.
Oh, yeah. I should have come with it. I'd have shown you.
Yeah.
The other thing we've done also to try and bring convenience to healthcare, we've introduced what we are calling hospital-at-home services. There are some people who may not want to come to the hospital for any reason. Either you are busy, you don't want to come to the clinic, or your patient can't be moved. Their whole CarePeak clinic can be moved to your house, and then we can do all the services from your house. Investigations, drawing bloods, ultrasound, doctor's examination, medication, everything, nursing care, physiotherapy. We can bring everything into your house. We're calling that one hospital at home. We launched it this year.
CarePeak is doing the most.
Yeah. The other thing we have done, and this one, the other one, this one excites me quite a bit. It was inspired by a very close friend of mine. He was diagnosed with cancer. He was going to India for treatment. Unfortunately, he died, right? So one of the things that used to happen to this guy is that he had gone to India for treatment, diagnosed, treated, comes back to Zambia. He was struggling to go back for review because he couldn't afford the air ticket. Yeah. Then he dies. Then we realized, okay, maybe we need to fix this. The other issue that comes with going to India for treatment is that find that some people go to India for treatment quite all right. But when they get there, they're sent back saying, you've come too late, your disease is too advanced, we can't treat you. So, but then they've already spent the money on accommodation, travel, and all that. So what we have done at CarePeak is that we've partnered with a very big hospital in India. It's a chain of hospitals. Again, using the same technology I told you about. So what we are doing now is that if you need to go to India, or if we as your doctors have realized that we don't have the expertise in Zambia for someone to look after you properly, we can send you to our hospital in India. What will happen is that the specialist from India will examine you from here. You don't need to travel. You do all the examination from here using our telemedicine platform. Do all the preliminary tests, and then they'll be able to determine whether you need to go or you don't need to go. So that even when you are going, you know what you are going to expect. You're going to meet the same doctor. It's just a continuation. Then when you are done with treatment and you come back to Zambia, you don't need to travel to India for review if you don't have the money. The same doctor who saw you in India, right, can review you from here using the telemedicine platform. So if you need medication or anything, we continue looking after you from here together with the doctor that saw you in India. That way, it helps people. What we've done also is that provided the Indian doctors are seeing you from here, you pay Zambian local fees for consultation. You don't pay the Indian fee. Yeah.
So you're already saving on Indian consultation fees, flights, accommodation in India.
Accommodation, everything. So if you need a second opinion from an Indian doctor or from India and you feel...
Because we don't trust black doctors very much, right?
No, it's not about that. You see, in medical practice, there's something called second opinion.
Okay.
And it's very much encouraged. It's standard practice.
Right.
Me, as a doctor who's looking after you, I can literally tell you, okay, look, in Nzeruza Perapa, this is as far as I can go.
Right.
Let me send you to somebody else whom I know who can look after you.
Even better.
Even better. Who can do more than what I can do. So I'll send you for a second opinion. Or I have doubts in my own diagnosis, or maybe I'm not sure. As doctors, we are not shy to say we don't know. In fact, we are encouraged to say we don't know when we are not sure. Yeah. So if I'm not sure and I don't know, I can send you for a second opinion. It doesn't mean that I'm not a good doctor. In fact, I'm actually a very good doctor when I'm not sure and then I send you somewhere else. Now, even you as a patient, you come to my office and I see you and you feel like, I'm not very sure about what Dr. Mujajati was saying. Let me go and seek a second opinion. You yourself, you can go and seek a second opinion. It doesn't say anything about me as a practitioner. It's something we encourage because in medical ethics, there's a very, very important rule. Above all, do no harm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that part of the would you call it Hippocratic or Hippocratic oath?
Hippocratic oath.
Hippocratic oath.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, when you touched on the India story, it reminds me so much of my young brother, and I don't know if you can help, but we're raising money right now for my young brother to go to India. So in 2014, my young brother hasn't heard a thing from 2014 October, if I'm not mistaken. He had a terrible headache, went into a coma, and when he woke up, he couldn't hear a thing. It's so bad that even if you fired a gunshot right now, he won't hear anything. So we've been to every major hospital in Zambia. We've been to South Africa to meet, what's his famous doctor who is now curing deafness? Yeah, I've forgotten the name, but I'm sure you've heard of him.
I've heard of him.
We went there and they say they'll do a 3D print of the cochlea.
And whatever.
The middle ear. Yeah.
I've heard of that doctor, yeah. He's doing some amazing things.
He's doing amazing things, but he also referred us to India because he said, I think this is a bit more advanced than what he does. So you have to go to India, and he said, even give examples of people that have cured the same condition. So guys, if you've got a bit of extra money, I'll give you my number later that we're raising funds for my young brother to go there. But are these things that people can see you over as well?
Yes.
So we can bring him to you as well.
Your brother can come. Then we can link you as family to our doctors in India. What I would have to do is to check with them and see whether but I know they have those expertise for sure because it's a very big hospital, very advanced. So we can make those arrangements so that you get a second opinion. And then they'll advise you whether you need to travel or you don't need to travel.
I need that boy start hearing, man. It's been 11 years now. He hasn't heard a thing.
Okay.
All the latest music that comes out, he knows the titles.
Do you have tests that he had done before?
We've got everything. We've followed everything.
So what that does for you is that it saves you money because we don't need to repeat the tests that you've already done. Yeah. It's not necessary to repeat the tests that you've already done. So if you have all the tests, you have everything, come over, we put it together, and then get a second opinion. And
Okay.
So the beauty also about this is that when you now need to travel to India, right? The hospital in India will send the quotation and will send it to you. And then you pay them directly. You don't pay us anything.
Oh.
Yeah, because here's why we did it that way. If I'm referring a patient to UTH doesn't pay me. So why should you pay me for referring you to India? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why.
Okay, cool. Now, back to the questions that we've been having also over things that have been happening on your page.
Yeah.
And one of the major ones that caught my attention was especially things that have been happening in this country the past few weeks. Exposures of certain material online and the likes. And then you posted, Water Tribe, please do not send pictures of your private parts in my inbox. I can't guarantee your privacy. Wait, people send you stuff in your inbox.
Right. So what happens is that sometimes people would have an actual disease condition, right?
Right.
They for them to, and they do it in good faith, by the way. They do it in good faith and they send pictures of their genitals with a disease condition and they'd like me to have an opinion on the same. But then I realized that, that's not safe. Because look, I'm not the only one who handles my page.
That?
Yeah, I'm not the only one who handles my page. So me, I'm bound by ethics, but the people who handle my page, some of them, they didn't swear the same oath that I swore. So it becomes very, very unsafe for them to do that. So I generally encourage people to come to the office if they need consultation as opposed to putting things in my inbox the way they sometimes do.
How often does this happen, though?
Quite often. I'm sure if I go and check my inbox right now, I'll find something.
People have confidence for days.
Yes, but again, you see, it is the confidence they have in the doctor because in their mind, they believe the doctor we'll keep this information confidential.
Yeah.
But that's Facebook. It's not my office. Okay? It's not my office.
Yeah.
And their confidence is well placed. And I'll tell you why it's well placed. In the Hippocratic Oath, there's a very important doctrine of confidentiality.
Right.
For example, if you are sick and you come to my office and I look after you, and you've not given me written permission to tell anyone about your disease, I would never tell them. Not whether it's your wife, whether it's your relatives, I would never tell them what you were sick of, and they can't do anything. They can take me to court if they want. I would never tell them.
You are protected by the law.
Well, I'm protected by the moral code.
The moral code, sorry.
So for us as doctors, the moral code is actually above the law. It is the moral code, then the law.
So these people that I've noticed the other week you had that liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that condition again that you're getting rid of?
Warts.
Warts.
Yeah.
Yes. So these people that come through, you're not showing their faces, right?
No.
And
we remove all identifiers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's part of the same reason, the
Right.
confidentiality.
Yeah.
And secondly, we get consent from them. I have to get consent from them to say, can I produce this imagery or this short clip for educational purposes? And then they would willingly participate, and that's how we do it.
Speaking of liquid nitrogen, I remember I was watching some documentary a few weeks ago where they were talking about preserving humans, like they put you in deep sleep status, put you in liquid nitrogen, cryogenics, yes, and then wake you up 200 years later. Do you think that's going to be possible, like in real life, for real?
Theoretically, it works. It's been done in animal experiments, and it works. Yeah, it works because.
When you're frozen, isn't that like death? You're dead.
No,
what do they keep alive for you to come and wake up?
We just slow down your cell processes to a point where they are slow enough not to die. And then we thaw you slowly until, you're back to life.
So you can actually freeze me today.
Yes.
Wake me up in 200 years' time with the same process.
Yes.
And I would not age at all.
No. Science is interesting. It's a thin line. Sometimes you wonder, are we playing God or are we actually doing science?
Yeah, because
you see, the beauty is that you can have some comfort that science operates in a space that is regulated with a moral code and things like that. Take away that moral code, science can do some serious damage.
Yeah. So, sorry, still on the topic. So, in the animals that they did that, what does the aging look like the aging process? If they and how long do they have the animal out for?
For quite some time, for a very long time.
10, 20 years,
even longer. These experiments have been going on for a long time, especially studies around aging, and because aging is like anti-aging is actually a very huge area nowadays.
Yeah.
People don't want to die. People don't want to
grow old.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy who's spending over $20 million in staying the same? I think they called him, because of a documentary on Netflix.
Right.
The guy who's getting cells from his son.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Where you get a younger person's blood, spin it, get their serum, and then get a transfusion of their serum. The reason that works is that in younger people, there are proteins that are able to maintain the life of your cells younger and younger and younger. As we grow older, there are certain parts of our bodies or certain parts of our chemicals that we lose. For example, there's this supplement called nicotinamide.
Okay.
You can even buy it over the counter, but make sure you don't get a gonger because there are so many gongers out there. You can supplement on nicotinamide, right?
Right.
And the wrinkles around your face will start. That's not why I don't have wrinkles in my eyes, and I don't take nicotinamide. I'm just
I was about to ask.
So the wrinkles would go away because the powerhouse of your cells or the power currency of your cells called ATP comes from the same nicotinamide, NAD, but NAD or nicotinamide if you like. And there's been a lot written about that. And yeah, same thing with getting serum from a young person. But that's a bit, I mean, I got my child and I draw blood and then spin her blood and transfuse that's a bit extreme.
Yeah, you should see this guy. I forgot
But
his name.
but people are doing it and they're able to reverse the aging actually process.
But if I don't have
Another way of reversing the aging, right? Which does not require drawing people's blood is fasting, not starving.
Huh?
Yes, fasting. For example, eat 1 meal a day.
Okay.
Yeah. Because fasting in itself, on its own, is able to stimulate certain parts of your cells or your body that allows it to slow down the aging process. It doesn't reverse it, but it slows it down. So you age very slowly.
So 1 meal a day.
Yeah,
but
fasting is good.
Which meal would you advise?
But for example, I generally eat 1 meal a day myself. Generally. Okay. So the meal that I eat is lunch, and I usually like to eat it late.
Like what, 16, 17 hours?
14 hours, 15 hours, that's when I eat my lunch.
No breakfast, no dinner.
No breakfast, no dinner. Yeah. However,
I would wake up in the middle of the night.
However, I generally discourage people from doing what I do because you can't wake up today and say, tomorrow you've started eating 1 meal a day. You will collapse.
Going cold turkey. So how do I slowly get into that?
So you have to go slowly. So the slow way of doing it is that you cut out breakfast. Breakfast is the easiest meal to cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Because your liver in the morning is able to give you enough fuel to carry you through the day. And you can do this experiment yourself. There's what is called the hunger time. Like, how long does it take for you to get hungry from your last meal? Do you know how long it takes you?
5-6 hours.
So you need to know that. How long does it take me to get to a point where I actually must eat because I'm hungry? Not that I must eat because I'm habituated to eat.
Because it's 12 hours I have to eat.
Because we are habituated. It's the same way we are habituated to eat breakfast.
Right.
Breakfast is not natural.
Yeah,
but you eat it. That's good marketing. That's why you eat breakfast.
I mean, somebody told us it's the most important meal of the day. Somebody, I'm sure, was trying to sell cornflakes.
That was a lie. And see, unfortunately, us as doctors, we are complicit in that conspiracy. Unfortunately, it's not true. It's been disproved. It's not the most important meal of the day.
So, what would you say is the most important meal of the day?
Lunch. If you go to your village today, your village people wake up in the morning at 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. They go in the field. They'll start working. They'll get a break when the sun starts getting a bit hot. Between 11 and 11:30, 12 hours thereabout. That's when they'll take a break, go and sit under a tree, drink munkoyo, eating shima. 15 hours, they go back to work. Understand? And look at them. They don't have as many lifestyle problems that we have here.
That is true.
Yeah. If you go to your village and count how many people have diabetes in your village. There are very few compared to us here in town.
I don't even have a relative who's with diabetes in the village.
Now, if you go to the village and check, how many men are struggling with their erection compared to us here in town? But that's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a verifiable fact.
Speaking of erections, I think the day I called you, I told you I was listening to your program at 3 in the morning. Like, what are you doing on radio at 3 in the morning? And you said, no, it must be a recorded program.
It must have been recorded,
yeah. And I just found at a point where you were talking about erectile dysfunction. Right. And this is on the back of me coming from having conversations with guys. And, of course, to protect the guy, I won't talk about who he is. But this is a guy talking about how his wife thinks he's been bewitched by some girl because every time they go to that point in the bedroom, time to have sex, the erection will be there, but just as they're about to get deep into it, it
collapses. Yeah.
Collapses. And she just believes this guy's been bewitched by some chick. And funny, you mentioned the same, saying wives sometimes think your husband has been bewitched or he's been with other women the whole week, and when it's time to do things with you, it doesn't work because it's been elsewhere. What's your message to wives? And let's start with what happens to men in these instances. What's happening internally before we get to the wives?
So in that scenario, I can think of a couple of things, right? First of all, if this person has been having like a good erection all along, and then suddenly, yes, he gets an erection, then it collapses. The first question I'd want to ask him is, does he get that morning erection? Because that erection you get in the morning when you wake up is a very important erection, because it tells us how much testosterone you have. So if you're not getting morning glory, then there's a chance that your testosterone is lower. So that's the first question I'd ask him. Do you wake up with an erection or not? That's key. 2, I'd want to see his body size. Is he overweight?
You've spoken about the waistline.
So, because if he is overweight, then there lies the problem.
Where's Elson?
Okay.
By the way, Elson is... it's becoming more and more common, him missing episodes, and is missing this one as well. He sent an apology, though. He won't be able to make it for this one because he had to go out of town to attend to some business,
Okay.
But anyway,
so
overweight.
Is he overweight? That's what I'd want to see. The other issue I'd want to ask is, how much alcohol does he take?
Okay.
So if you are abusing alcohol, chances are very high that you'll start struggling with erection eventually. Is he a frequent smoker? Does he have diabetes? Is he hypertensive and on medication? All those things.
Let's start with the overweight. What's that got to do with erections?
Okay. So if you are overweight, it begins to remember, the erection is nothing but blood flow.
Okay.
Yeah. It's uninterrupted blood flow. That's what you want. So if you see somebody struggling with an erection, there's a problem with blood flow. So if you are overweight, chances are very high that the tubes that carry blood are also getting blocked because of high cholesterol in your system. Yeah. And then one of the areas that gets quickly affected if you are having issues with blood flow in your system is the erection. In fact, it has been now studied. There's a very good suggestion that when a man is struggling with an erection, chances are he may now suffer heart disease, because a poor erection is an early sign of problems with blood flow.
Okay.
Yes, it's an early sign. So it's not just so that erection on its own, in as much as it is important to men, it is a sign, it's a warning sign to something even bigger and worse than that erection. Chances are that you may suffer heart disease, you may suffer a stroke if nothing is done. Now, outside all those things I have talked about, there are other things that can make an erection, fall down for a man. Let's assume his testosterone is okay, everything is fine, but what would then make his erection go down? There's a mental aspect to it. Okay? There's a mental aspect to it. What you need to appreciate is that the biggest sex organ you have is not your phallus.
It's not your what?
The biggest sex organ you have is not your phallus. It is not your member. It's not your manhood. That's not.
What is it?
The biggest sex organ you have is your brain.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Your brain is the biggest sex organ.
For simulation starts in.
Yes. So, if for some strange reason, strange or not, this person has anxiety or is stressed or depressed, you can't get an erection like that. One of the well-studied causes of erectile dysfunction is a nagging wife. No, you may laugh, my brother.
Oh, wow.
You may laugh, my brother, but it's a serious issue. I can challenge women out there, do an experiment. Nag your husband for a month. Let's see if you get an erection. Non-stop.
Oh,
it's documented. Sounds like a joke, but
serious, eh?
Check it. It's very well documented.
I believe your word. I hang on your every word when you speak. I mean, you're a doctor.
It's very well documented.
I hang on your words, yeah.
Yeah. So now, if your husband has pressure, for example, financial pressures.
Rent is due. School fees are due.
Schools are due. Business.
The car is down.
The car is down. He just has so much pressure on his head. It's hard to get an erection when someone is stressed or has anxiety or is depressed. So for your friend, I would strongly advise him to come to our men's clinic at CarePeak Specialist Clinic. We have a specialist who is specifically dedicated to dealing with men's problems. There's no reason nowadays, if you're in Lusaka, to suffer with a problem as a man and sit there. No.
When Dr. Aaron is there?
No, the clinic
Why
is
is
there.
suffering?
We set up the clinic for you. Come to the clinic. We have a look at what you're going through. And then, you see, the problem we do as guys is that when you're struggling with an erection, you listen to your friend who tells, ninama to cough you, tenda umwe konayo. Or, I drank
I chewed this.
I chewed this, or nama pwanya something. I go and nayo umwe. No, solutions differ. What if my erectile dysfunction has something to do with something very different to you?
I mean, I could
Understand?
I could be having a nagging wife, and you could
Three
be...
people who have erectile dysfunction don't have the same problem. So why do you recommend pwanya something to all of them?
I mean, one could have a nagging wife. The other could have BP.
One just needs to lose weight. Just lose weight and your erection will be back.
And then, I always believe if something is being marketed heavily, there must be a very big demand for it.
No, but
And-
here's the thing. Traditional
I've got a
drugs
point
work.
to that. Okay, anyway.
They work. Pwanya something. Visebenza.
No. My point is, if like I said, if there's so much advertising for something, it means there's a huge demand for that one thing. And then we see a lot of posters for penis enlargement. Would you advise men to go for these things? How do they even happen? We see these posters everywhere. How are they doing it?
So, penis enlargement is possible.
Okay.
Yeah, you can enlarge your penis. But the question is, what size do you think is appropriate?
Let's start with the safe. Is it even safe?
Well, there are varying safety degrees depending on the method that you've used. But for me, for anybody who thinks they need penis enlargement, what size do they think is appropriate?
I'm assuming everybody wants to go for XL because they want to be thought of as that guy.
Like what size? As size as same size as this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where do you think you will put it?
There's a lot of people are laughing in the studio.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah, but I really feel this is coming from women.
Because, okay, here's a...
Women laughing at guys with inadequacies and it's
Okay.
giving guys pressure thinking they need to go to that size. You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah.
Truth be told, micropenis is a real thing. There are men out there who, if they stand here, take off their clothes, you can't see anything. Because the penis has gone inside.
Okay.
And it's so small you can't see it. It's as tiny as this.
For real.
Yeah. Micropenis is a real thing. However, micropenis is not an issue for black people.
Black people.
No.
Who is it more common in?
Other people.
We won't mention names here.
It's not an issue. So for people who have micropenis, for example, those may require a medical indication for penis enlargement. The way you do breast augmentation, you put
Pumping.
you put those prostheses inside. Those bags that they put.
Yes.
You can do the same for the penis. You can put prostheses inside.
Yeah, but then you mentioned an erection is mostly about blood flow. So where do the new veins come from to fill up all those things that you're putting inside it?
The way they insert those things, they remember the penis has sponges, 3 sponges. They sit like this.
Okay.
One here, one at the bottom. Those are the tubes that get filled with blood, and when they're very filled with blood, you get the thingy. Now, those things, they don't interfere with them. They just put something inside that also stands with this thing when it's... Another way of enlarging a penis is you give injections. Under the skin of the penis, you give an injection of hyaluronic acid, and the hyaluronic acid attracts water. So ibwa hivi ivimba. And ikavimba because it's attracting water.
Right.
You perception-wise, you will see that it has grown in size and in girth. And that one lasts for about 12 to 14 months. You have to repeat.
For the rest of your life.
If you want to.
But then these people are putting posters around. How are they doing it?
The mechanism is very similar to, basically, they induce swelling.
Yeah, but the swelling doesn't last long?
Okay. After the age of 21, your penis stops growing. So whatever you have, if you're above 21, that's all you will ever have. Okay. Before the age of 21, there are things you can do to enhance the size of the penis. For example, you're in the shower, hot water, you do that with hot water.
How old are you again? You're 21.
You have a chance, my brother. You have a chance.
Oh, you still have a few months.
You have a chance, my brother.
Oh, fam.
Those of us who are way beyond 21, that's what you guys.
That's
But also, here's another thing about penis enlargement. That for me, here's fundamentally why I discourage penis enlargement is that there's no optimum size that you can say, okay, this size is. That's what I was asking you. What size do you want? Have you ever seen the size of the head of a baby?
Yeah, it's about that much. Yeah.
Have you ever measured the baby from shoulder to shoulder?
Well, newborn is going to be about that much, yeah.
They pass through the vagina.
You didn't have to be so practical now.
No. They come through the vagina, the same place where you want to go and compete for size. Remember that the vagina is elastic. Okay? Whatever size you want to give yourself, it will distend and it will accommodate you easily without a problem. So that's I'm asking, where do you want to put it?
Well, now you're giving me thoughts about
Where do you want to put it? Because you can't win. Guys, just give up. You can't win. And this is driven by the things we now see on different sites. You see, those porn actors and everything and all that, most of those things you see, they're not natural. Yeah.
And you see, because there's a lot of consumption of that material, I think that's what's growing the demand, because now the women see that and they feel their man needs to be like that. The man sees that, he thinks it's supposed to be like that. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. You see, what we forget that porn is acting. It's make-believe.
Yeah.
All that moaning and screaming that you see, it's make-believe. It's like going to watch Rambo. But here we are, we think that the make-believe you see on those sites is what you see in homes, is what you see with a girlfriend and whatever. No, it's not like that.
Moving on, Doc. You know, one thing that's, when I saw a post of yours, I did like a quick survey over some topic that you posted a few weeks ago. And this is regular health checks or even an annual checkup.
Right.
We rarely do those. And you were very upset, I think, 2-3 weeks ago when Parliament rejected a motion to promote annual health checkups among citizens. I think I saw that on News Diggers or something.
Yeah, I think that they threw away water with the baby on that one. I think for them, they were arguing in the sense that you cannot enforce it. It's not enforceable. I agree it's not enforceable. But you cannot say that here's a government which is trying to introduce a policy or a law that encourages institutions to promote or to put policies that promote annual checks, and you go and reject it. I've tried to see it from their side. Their argument was that this is not something you can enforce. But we're not talking about mandatory medical checkups here. We are talking about institutions, encouraging institutions to have policies that encourage annual checks. What that does for you is that it helps you catch certain things early. There are certain things, if you catch them early, you actually prolong life, you prevent unnecessary costs, you prevent the catastrophic costs that come with medical treatments in the home. My issue with that one is that if it needs to be refined and taken back to Parliament, then can they tell us the areas that need refining so it can go back to Parliament? Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think it was a wrong decision. I think they need to reconsider. If it needs refining, can we refine it? It goes back. Because I think it's important that we get to a point where we normalize these things of, annual medical checks. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Take prostate cancer. Zambia right now is struggling with the problem of prostate cancer. We are getting the most aggressive prostate cancer in the world. And our people are dying of prostate cancer. And yet, if you catch it early, you can cure somebody. And then men out there need to be going for these things. And a policy like that would have helped.
Wait, prostate cancer is the one that you poke somebody?
No, we don't. We used to a long time ago.
Oh, sure.
Where we used to push a finger in the
yeah.
No, we don't do that anymore. Nowadays, what we do to check for prostate cancer is that we take a blood test, and then we also do an ultrasound. Just those two. That's what WHO recommends, and it works just fine. We no longer push fingers in the rectum. So if there are men out there who are listening, no one is going to push a finger in your rectum to check for prostate cancer.
Gentlemen, we can breathe.
Yeah.
The world is a better place now.
What? You know
that's why I've never come, eh? You know that's why I've never come. For the checks.
No.
So when you do that annual health checkup, what tests would I do if I came for those?
So for example, there's what we call executive annual medical checkups, right? Where we check for the function of the heart. So there are tests under the heart, function of the kidneys, function of the liver. We check your full blood count. We check we do your ECG, we do echo, we do abdominal ultrasound. And if it's indicated, we also check your thyroid.
So I can have all these tests done you?
We do those.
With you?
Yes. Okay. We do those at CarePeak. We can even come to your house or to your office to come and do them if you want us to come.
But that's like a long list of things. Isn't that expensive or something?
Very long. Expensive is relative. Look at what you're preventing. You're preventing a bigger cost.
Yeah.
You're preventing a much, much bigger problem. Somebody said you don't have problems until you have a health problem.
True.
And your body is not is failing you. Your body is not listening to you. Your body is not doing what you want it to do. Then you have real problems. And that's what we're trying to prevent. We want you to stay healthy and continue doing what you're doing here, podcasting and this stuff that you're doing, beautiful stuff that you're doing.
You know what?
We want you to continue doing this.
Right after the long weekend, I'm coming through.
But
Doc, you look too motivated. That's the way you said. You're making me nervous now.
No, but don't worry.
Said ubwele.
Don't worry, it's Pinda Mula, just come.
Speaking of tests, I remember, I think I heard you say or post somewhere you were talking about how men can also have a positive pregnancy test.
Yes, they can.
I heard you right. I can't remember where I heard you or you posted.
Yes, a man can have a positive pregnancy test.
But would that make me pregnant?
No. I remember a very young man came to my clinic once. He had a swelling in the scrotum. We examined him. There was a solid mass in one of his testicles. And I told him, go and do a pregnancy test. He was shocked. Why am I looking at me, doc? Just go and do it. And when we went to our lab, got it done, results came back, pregnancy was positive. It's one of the tests we use to detect cancer of the testicles. That's why we encourage men from time to time when you're in the bathroom, play with your testicles. Check. You need to know the consistency of the testicles. Play with them every month we're checking. I was like, okay, my testicles feel like this. So that in case there's something in your testicles that is unusual, that, okay, you come to us, we check it nicely for you. You save lives.
It's the way you made it sound. Play.
No, you have to check the testicles. Checking, I'm Shamoshi. You have to check.
Put your jacket down a bit at the back.
Yes, I want to check it.
I don't know why you got to be saying I have to pull it down.
Okay.
I think it was looking like it was on a hanger or something, right?
Okay. So check your testicles. And talking about testicles, some people come and they're like, oh, doc, I've been checking my testicles. I've realized one is lower than the other. That's normal.
One is bigger than the other?
One is bigger than the other. That's normal.
So what am I looking for when I'm playing with the nuts?
First of all, you're looking for size.
Okay. Size. But you have said it's normal.
Yeah. One is lower than the other.
Okay.
Yes.
That's normal.
It's the same thing with breasts. You've said that breasts are not the same size. If they're exactly the same size...
Let me just tell my wife to send the pic.
If the breasts are exactly the same size, then someone went for surgery. My very naive in your siana, which mozi. I almost use the nyanja word. Mozi. testicles are also one is above the other like this. It's normal like that. It's like a penis. Some of the young men come to the clinic. No, doc, my penis in your bender. There is no straight penis out there. Zero. A penis is at an angle. Maybe yours is at this angle. Someone's angle is another angle. There's no straight penis like this. Mwazamanga straight.
So wait, that guy came to check, hoping you would straighten things out for him.
He thought it was a problem that Neo bend down. It's supposed to be like that.
And then, there's so many things that you say that I've got questions over, and I'm trying to remember as many as possible for the sake of a lot of guys out there, because I think this episode is very guy-centric, if I may. You've spoken about teeth, eyes growing in testicles. How does that even happen? How do teeth grow inside that region?
Yes, it happens. You can have teeth, hair,
inside,
bones growing in a testicle, combined. It's called a teratoma. Terra from the word terra itself. Yes. Yes. They get a tongue growing in a testicle.
Wait, how does that even happen?
Well, it's a type of cancer.
Because that's terrifying.
So it's a type of cancer that grows in there. And the type of cell that is there is it can grow into anything it wants. So someone has cancer, you go and open, you musegura meno yambakugwa.
With the enamel and everything.
The whole works, my brother. Actually, no so. The human body is a fascinating machine. When it works very well, it's a beautiful thing to look at. When things go wrong, it can go wrong in a very fantastic way.
I know this is a bit of a generic question to ask, and I hope you have an answer for it, but what's the worst case that you've ever had brought to you by a patient? Like,
I think it's very difficult to...
I don't even know if I'm asking the right question, but I'm sure there are cases that are just like mind-blowing for you even as a doctor.
Yes. It's very difficult to weigh the badness of a case. The badness of a medical condition is measured by the patient themselves. I've seen patients born with no legs, no hands. It's just a head and a trunk, and the guy is happy. Is that the worst case? So it's relative.
Yeah, that's why I even said, I don't know if I'm asking the right question, but I'm just trying to imagine, okay, maybe what's the most challenging case you've dealt with?
I've seen babies born with no brain.
No brain?
But they don't last very long. A few hours later, they are dead. Maybe that's the worst I've seen. But the one that I've seen that I think is the worst because it's preventable. Unfortunately, some children are born and then at birth, they get a permanent damage to a portion of their brain. And they grow up with some serious disability, either of hands and legs, the cerebral palsy. I've seen some very, very difficult cases of cerebral palsy. And the trouble you have with cerebral palsy is that it is not the child who's sick, it's the parent. Because it's hard to raise a child with cerebral palsy.
You're saying it's not the child who's sick?
Yes. Because remember, when you're raising a child with a disability like cerebral palsy, he or she is not suffering. They have no perception of suffering.
They don't even know that there's anything wrong, yeah.
The one who is suffering, it is the parent who is looking after the child. And when you look at kids with cerebral palsy, some of them, it's quite disheartening to look at. And these are some of the causes for cerebral palsy are preventable. Some of them is because of mistakes by us as health workers. Some it's because mistakes from the parents themselves. Some of them you can't even explain what the problem was, but the child has cerebral palsy. So this child has a permanent damage to a growing brain, and it's
Wait, which one's cerebral palsy?
So cerebral palsy is a disorder of posture and movement, where a child has hands that are either like this, and the legs near bender, musana now no bender. They may not be able to talk properly. Yeah.
So I'm sure we've met people who we thought maybe that was,
and you can't reverse it.
That's the
You
most
can't cure it.
painful thing. Yeah.
You can only provide support through physiotherapy, speech therapy, put the child through school, because they are intelligent, but they can't just talk
Express
properly.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably can't even write as well.
No, they can't. They are 100% dependent on other people. Like 100% dependent on caregivers.
Oh, guys, I know you've got questions. A lot of you are looking. Go, just give me the black mic and the mic cable.
So
Connect
if
it.
you ask me, is that the worst? I think that would be the worst, because
It's also made me feel some type of way right now.
because it's the parent who is struggling, and people don't look at the parent, they look at the child. No, you're looking in the wrong direction. It is the parent who needs support.
Because the child doesn't even know that until they reach a certain age where they start comparing themselves to other kids, right?
Even if they did, they may not have insight enough to know that they are suffering.
Let's get dirty for a little bit and talk about toilet paper. There's something you posted that I was in total agreement of.
Oh, the bidet.
I love the bidet. I love bidets. You know, from the time I moved to Nakonde in 2018,
Right.
I didn't know what a bidet was
Uh-huh.
until, hold on. I didn't know, and I'm being very honest, I didn't know what a bidet was until I moved to Nakonde. And then I started interacting with Tanzanians and Muslim people. And every building you get into,
There's a bidet.
there's no toilet paper, there's a bidet.
Yeah.
You know? There's no toilet paper, there's just a bidet and a little hose pipe with a little thing handle there. You sprinkle your,
Yeah.
you know.
So at CarePeak, what we've done is that our toilets have bidets.
I love them.
Yeah. Our toilets have bidets.
I love them so much. And after I started comparing toilet paper usage versus the bidet, I've never turned back. So from 2018, that's how many, 8 years now?
Yeah.
I've been using the bidet, no toilet paper ever.
Yeah, it's more hygienic.
Until I go
It's
to
cleaner.
hotels and I've got no choice.
Yeah.
But, well, if I'm not home and I get into a building where there's only toilet paper, then I have no choice. But it's 2-3 times in a year.
Yeah.
But if I find myself in a lodge or hotel, I'll make sure I have a bottle of something, like a Fanta, empty, fill it up with water whenever I need. Why are you laughing? No, trust me.
Yeah.
Once you stop using toilet paper and start using water,
Yeah.
you will feel the difference. You feel
major
clean, bruh. Muslims have clean behinds. I can guarantee you that.
In Malaysia, we used to go to Kafar Brigade. But you can look at the Kafar Brigade, yeah. Kafar Brigade, yeah.
You know what I mean?
A bidet is far much better compared to toilet paper.
But why did you bring that up when you posted that?
Well, the whole idea was about trying to expose our local, the water tribe, to alternatives. That, quite all right, we use toilet paper, but there are alternatives that are cheaper. In the long run, a bidet is even way cheaper than toilet paper.
Yeah.
It's just expensive when you're installing it, but after that,
I love it so much.
if you can install a bidet, you'll be
Guys,
good.
Do you have questions aside? Huh? Somebody has a question here. Just turn the mic on for her. Introduce yourself and what are you doing here?
My name is Luasi and I am an intern
Yeah.
on the podcast. So when you talked about cerebral palsy, you said it's preventable. How exactly does the mother or the person or the health professionals, how can they prevent it?
Okay. So here's how you may prevent cerebral palsy, right? Number one, plan the pregnancy. Although in Zambia, in most cases, we just get pregnant. Mama, timankashina mimba mwana badwa. we don't have that culture of planning our pregnancies. Which brings me to another issue. We don't have the culture of doing pre-conceptual medicals. Kalenga asked me about medicals earlier, but there's something called pre-conceptual medicals, where you do medicals before you even consider having a baby with someone. You go for tests. All right. The other issue here is go for antenatal early. The moment you discover that you're pregnant, go for antenatal. Don't wait. We have this culture of saying, for some strange reason, there's some, there's some superstition around it. No, go to the hospital, let them do antenatal early, do ultrasounds early, do everything early. The moment you discover you're pregnant, why do you do that? For example, what's your shoe size?
There's a size what?
Are you size 4 or 3?
5.
Size 5. Okay, 5 is good. So if you have a smaller shoe size, chances are that your pelvis is also small, and it is it's too small to have a baby pushed out. All right. So when your pelvis is small, as a woman, there's what we call, because the head in medicine is called the cephalus or cephalic. So there's what we call cephalopelvic disproportion, where the head is considered bigger than the pelvis. Not that the head of the baby is big, it's just that the size of the pelvis, the bone of the woman around the waist, is small for the baby to be able to pass. So if that bone is small and you try to push the baby to come out, those are people at prolonged labor. Prolonged labor, you end up with a child who is starved of oxygen. When the child is starved of oxygen, the brain dies. When the brain dies, other children end up with a cerebral palsy.
But Doc, are you saying that women, or is there extra care taken, or they should not just have children if they have, say, the way she looks and her shoe size is less than a size 4?
If you are small, consider a cesarean section.
All right.
Yes.
Because you know what came to my mind immediately, and I don't know how to phrase this without...
Let's get about mode of delivery. So at mode of delivery,
without insulting anyone.
If your pelvis
midgets.
You have to check the pelvis.
In them as well?
Yes.
Okay.
If the
Is
size
that even a respectful word?
If the size of the baby they are carrying is
Are we
small,
okay?
If the
I can
size,
say midget.
Yeah. I'm not sure what political correctness is there.
Guys, I don't want to offend people.
But
I'm sorry if I use the wrong word and you're offended. I'm really sorry.
Small people, right?
Yeah.
When small people are pregnant, we generally tend to do cesarean sections on them to avoid the same things I'm talking about. Yeah. So any condition, for example, a child has fetal distress. Okay. For any reason, either fetal distress because the mother has hypertension in pregnancy and the hypertension wasn't properly taken care of. That's why I have to go for antenatal. We catch these things early, like hypertension, because we don't want you to come with fetal distress. For example, you have hypertension in pregnancy, you were missing antenatal, you end up with the preeclampsia and eclampsia, and you're in labor. That affects the quality of the baby that you're going to have. That's what I meant when I said these things can be prevented. Yeah.
There's something that I don't think I've heard before. I haven't heard often. Something that you just said. When you're planning on having a baby, both of you should go for tests.
You have to. Like Banachimbusa, if they are listening. Church leaders, if they are listening, because they're the ones who marry people. Let's normalize doing pre-marital, pre-conceptual medicals. I'll tell you why. Let's assume you have sickle cell in your family, or there was sickle cell in your family some generations ago and you didn't know, and you're a carrier of sickle cell. And because you're a carrier, you don't have symptoms for sickle cell. So you don't know. Your partner is also a carrier for sickle cell, and they don't know. You get married and you start having children with sickle cell. That can be managed. If you're both carriers, the question now you need to ask yourselves is that, are we emotionally prepared to look after the child? Should this child that we're carrying, or we potentially carry, be born with sickle cell? If the answer is yes, and you are, emotionally, physically, financially capable of looking after a child with sickle cell, should it happen, at least you are prepared. Ideally, you should be now reconsidering. Do you think it's a wise decision for us to proceed and get married, knowing fully well that we may get a child with sickle cell? Because if you're a carrier for sickle cell, then you need to marry somebody who does not have sickle cell.
For you to be completely sure that this won't.
Yes, then you will not have children who have sickle cell. You may have other children who are carriers, but they will not have sickle cell. But if you're a carrier and you marry someone who has a carrier, there's a 25% chance that you will have a child with sickle cell. But then you need to know and prepare yourself.
Yes, because most of us is just, oh, babe, I'm pregnant. Oh, wow.
For example,
I'm sure, not that you actually sat down and said, okay, this year we're going to, you just find that the contraceptive didn't work.
Another example.
Yeah.
Have you seen women who, they get pregnant quite all right, but they lose the pregnancy?
Yeah.
Uyamangana na mamimba, but mamimba yamasoba. And they keep saying, no, obvious, wanamulo, wanumfuit. Now, for some of them, not all of them, for a good number, actually, there's a good explanation for that. That can be prevented and managed with the same preconceptual tests. Blood groups. Do you know a blood group?
No.
Oh, see? That.
You know your blood group? You know your blood group? Okay, just hold that question.
So let me make a point on the blood group issue. If, for example, she has a blood group O negative and my blood group is O positive, and I get her pregnant, her first pregnancy will go on just fine with no issues. And she better not have an abortion with that pregnancy, because if you do, that's the last viable pregnancy you ever have. Here's what happens.
I never expected it.
When you're O negative and I'm O positive and I get you pregnant and you don't know, you go ahead and you carry the baby, a bad one, and you didn't know. And we didn't do this premarital testing. The next time I get you pregnant, your womb will reject the child. Why? Because your womb got sensitized to my O+. And it will start treating the child the way your body treats a virus or a disease. As far as your uterus is concerned, this is a disease to be gotten rid of. So, mimba ungana nayo mushe after some time, mimba yachoka. Mimba ungana nayo mushe yachoka.
What?
So, to prevent that, when you got pregnant the first time, there's a drug you were supposed to be given to stop your body from rejecting future pregnancies. Now you see why checking your blood group is important, especially for women. Even you guys, before you marry someone, check their blood group. And I hope they didn't have an abortion in the past.
I never expected it. You learn something new every day. She has a question.
Yeah.
The mic. Huh?
Hi, my name is Chico. I'm visiting the studio today. My question was on blood groups because I've noticed, especially in Africa, there's a tendency of people to fall in love and to believe that love is enough and not get the necessary tests done before committing to marriage, because it can cause issues like that. And then there's another kind of like healthcare gap that I see is when parents have children who are on the neurodivergent scale or on the neurodivergent spectrum. Parents treat that kind of condition with a certain denial, especially men. And since this is a men-centric episode, could you just touch a little bit on like the neurodivergent spectrum, diseases like ADHD, and how men can handle that when it comes to supporting their family?
Right. And you're right about testing, and I think we've made that point. Children who are born on the spectrum, it's traditionally, and I'm glad you've raised that point, we've seen men abandon women because they had a child who has a challenge, whether physical or mental or whatever. We've seen men abandon women and go and marry somebody else. This is your problem. It's got nothing to do with me. And it is very unfortunate. It's basically a lack of information. I know a gentleman, I won't mention his name, and he's a good example of what we want to see in men. They had a child who was born with a challenge, CP to be specific, cerebral palsy, and he quit his job because he was able to quit his job to be at home and look after the child because the child was male and growing, needed somebody stronger. And the wife continued to work and support the family. How many women can do that?
Before you start looking at your man funny for not providing.
Before you start looking at your man funny for not providing meals in the home. So it's both ways. And I think that we really have to work as a team on this. But majority of men, like you've rightly observed, do tend to abandon women like that. And it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. But it happens. And in most cases, it's just lack of information and also lack of systemic support in the community where you live. For example, a child born on the spectrum living in Lusaka has better support structures in terms of education, access to medical doctors and things like that to assist than a child born in the rural areas. Yeah. So in the rural areas, everything is witchcraft until proved otherwise. Yeah. So that becomes a bit of a challenge as well. But we are seeing more and more people get more informed with, as we put out more information out there, it's getting better. But it is not where we want it to be, unfortunately. I'll give you another example. Why you have to do this pre-marital testing and why you should go for antenatal early and things like that. If as a woman you are carrying a baby and the baby is big, say for example you have diabetes and you didn't know you had diabetes and then you get pregnant, you end up with a very big baby. These are women who carry babies who are born with 4.8 kg, 5.2 kg, and you celebrate no, that's a problem. Okay? It is a problem. A baby born like that from a diabetic mother needs to be managed. So they admit them and manage them properly before they release them to go home. So that's why you need to test for diabetes before you get pregnant. Another issue is that if you're going to have a large baby and you decide to push vaginally for the baby, you are risking that child getting brain damage, like I mentioned. But you are also risking damage to your own self as a woman. You may end up with a connection between the rectum and the vagina where feces begin to come out through the vagina. Okay?
I never expected it.
It's called rectovaginal fistula.
Oh, fistula, yeah.
And these women get abandoned by their husbands. Why? Because of the smell. Urine is just flowing on its own. You can't control the feces that are coming out through the vagina. It's good that now we're able to repair these fistulas, but they can be prevented. Go for antenatal early. If you have diabetes, check if you have diabetes or not. That's why.
Okay.
My question is basically on this thing called the morning after pills, and connection to pregnancy. Like, do they really have effect to a point of whereby if you take them too much, is there a thing called where you take them too much, you might become barren, or if you or is there a period where you have to take them? Anything in those lines?
You see, about morning after pill, I always say this. If you find yourself using morning after pill too frequently, then you need to be on proper contraceptives. It's called emergency contraception for a reason. The dosage in that morning after pill is very high. You cannot be taking it every day. The morning after pill. Tomorrow you drink another morning after pill. Then you need something more robust. And probably you may need counseling. Because you can't be drinking morning after pill over and over again. Okay, you have a much bigger problem that needs to be addressed. The other issue is that, you see, morning after pill works for emergencies only. Do not take morning after pill as if you are taking it as the way you take normal contraceptives. You are creating problems for yourselves. The other thing you must understand about morning after pill, there are guys who say, but Unama morning after pill, how come you're pregnant? Yes, you can get pregnant even after taking morning after pill. Okay? You must understand that a morning after pill does not work if you're ovulating. So if she's ovulating and when wachaya, and then you buy her that morning after pill, my brother, start budgeting for diapers.
Start thinking baby names.
Start looking for baby names, diapers, because it's angry and I mean bafuna so full.
I want you to highlight on is, does it have an impact later on if you stop using those?
What's the worst that could happen?
Yes.
It can affect your hormones because the dosage for morning after pills is very high. So don't use morning pill or after pill as if you are taking contraceptives. That's what I'm trying to say. It can affect your fertility because the dosage for morning after pill is way higher than the standard.
So for those who are taking morning after pills every Monday, example, because every weekend is crazy.
Take microgynon, right? If you don't have morning after pill and they want to use microgynon as a morning after pill, they don't give you one pill. They can give you 2 to 3 pills of microgynon at once.
Okay.
Even 4 sometimes at once. Because then, okay, this is a short term, it's an emergency, boom. So morning after pill, the dosage is very, very high. Please don't use it frequently. Don't take it every day. If you're in that scenario, go for proper contraception. Because otherwise you end up with serious problems. Don't take morning after pill. Monga mgumama sweet.
Well, every Monday because the weekends are crazy.
You see, that's the problem.
Guys, any more questions? Louis, our resident virgin. Nothing? Nothing.
Why did you call it?
Listen to his different. Because he is.
Oh, you are? Nice.
All our viewers know about this story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone knows.
Have we met before? When I was last here, were you here? Ah, good. Now, I'm glad you're a virgin, my brother. Keep it that way. You're missing nothing, actually. No, you're not missing anything.
Fam.
Sex is overrated. Sex is exaggerated sometimes. Create your own reality, my brother. Yes, create your own reality, my brother. Even to be very relative, huh? Very relative. To see how nice you want. The way you and me are different on our faces, that's how we experience sex. Very different.
Don't believe the hype. Yeah.
Doc. Iwe yako hype nawe zakangala che yako che na iwe. Yeah, unique to you.
Doc, I know you've got a whole family waiting in the car outside.
Yes.
And we promised them we'll be done in an hour. These are all your daughters?
All 4 of them.
All 4? Wait, did I count 5?
So, iwe mdani shisozonkana wana wamuna.
African mentalities, yeah?
Anyway, I have daughters.
I only noticed when I came to the hospital that you actually have a limp.
Yeah, I do.
I've known you for such a long time and I've never noticed this.
It's quite a story.
Tell us a story. We've never bothered to ask last time because I didn't notice it.
I'll tell you in 1 minute, and then when we have time, I can tell you the full story. So I was born normal like any other child. When I was 4 years old, I got 3 years old. I got what they call a pyomyositis in my left leg. Basically, chipute in the muscle. What is called pyomyositis. And I was hospitalized at UTH for a long time.
Months?
Yeah, almost a year, if not longer.
Just in the hospital?
Yeah, because the condition was so bad that I was supposed to undergo an amputation of this leg. This one was supposed to be amputated. So the day I was supposed to go to theater, my parents had already signed for amputation, everything. My dad, in fact, signed. Signed everything. When they came in the morning to pick me up to take me to theater, I was not in the ward. I disappeared. I was at home.
How old were you?
I was four, I think. 4. My mother took me home.
She couldn't.
Her argument was that she didn't want me to have an amputation. She thought she would rather I died than live with one leg. That woman took such a huge risk, man. Because I could have died.
But look at you today.
No, but the amputation was the correct decision.
But do you ever imagine where your life would have gone if the amputation had happened?
That woman is weird. She took me home. And she started praying and squeezing the pus herself and praying and squeezing the pus herself. That's why I sometimes I feel I'm traumatized by religion. Praying and squeezing, praying. Until this thing healed. Then when it healed, this leg healed in flexion, like this fixed flexion.
Okay.
Then she started stretching it on her own at home. Boy, I was in pain that period.
You were 4 and you can remember?
No, by then I was a bit older. I think I was now getting into 5. 6.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And she started stretching it on her own at home with warm water and what. And then once she stretches it straight like this, she would put a piece of wood here and tie in my leg in to keep the leg straight. And then I had to learn how to walk all over again at some point. Yeah, so, yeah, looking back, I'm grateful I'm able to walk. But I could have died. That woman also.
She made a good gamble.
She really gambled.
With her own medicine that she believed in, yeah.
I'm a doctor. She just doesn't realize the risk she took. It was a major risk.
But because of that experience, do you also take such risks based off your own life experience?
No, I don't.
Not with other people's life.
No, let my mother do those things. I do not. I am not her. She's her own person in her own universe, her own space. Yeah, so that's how I ended up with a limp and stuff like that. And and I'm grateful because, I mean, I could have had an amputation or I could have died.
But have you ever taken any risks that are off the book? Like, you know what, yes, the book says this, but you know what, maybe this can work? This other thing that I think my sixth sense is telling me can work will work.
Several times. But not to the extent that my mother did. I do take risks.
She's special.
I do take risks a lot, actually. Some of my friends think I'm sort of a daredevil with things, but I tend to take very calculated risks. Yeah, I like to have a contingency plan, even if I'm going to do something daring. Yeah. I
remember in the book Gifted Hands, Ben Carson would talk about having visions. So maybe like, remember the twins, the first Siamese twins that he separated?
Yeah.
He would pray about it, have visions, and God would sort of direct him on what direction to take, how to separate the brains from the two conjoined twins.
Yeah.
Do you have those things as well? You just, something in you tells you it could be this and you actually find that you're right?
No, I don't. Maybe my mother does, because that woman, what she did...
You're traumatized by religion, so of course.
No, what that woman did, you guys, was very, very risky. And I can imagine my father in the morning in the hospital, the doctors, they're looking for a patient who's supposed to go to surgery. Patient is not there. He comes home, he finds his wife home with a very sick child. I wonder what went through his head.
Were you getting feverish?
I was thin like a... There are pictures of me during that time. I look so skin and bone.
Ish. But thanks.
Here's what made me realize the seriousness of the matter. There's my father's, one of the relatives on my father's side who had seen me while I was in hospital and had to go back to Zimbabwe because they live in Zimbabwe. So they came back later. I was about 18 years old when they came back to visit. And then he was asking my mother, so how many children do you have now? Then my mother says, I have this many children. And then he said, but you have a child who died. Then, I never expected it. So it was like, but you have a child who died, right? My mother said, no, I don't have a child who died. So you mean that child I left in the hospital at that time survived? And then my mother said, it's this one here. The guy looked at me. That's when it dawned on me that, okay, this
was critical.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you not talk about this the first episode that we had with you? Wow.
I know, right?
Dr. Mujajati, let's not keep the babies waiting any longer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through. And I think
thanks for having me, bro.
You've answered a lot of the questions that I had just judging by your posts. And a lot of times you don't have such time to respond to comments that come on your posts.
Yeah.
But I've noticed most of the times you respond with short.
Yeah. I try to engage as much as I can. Yeah.
Wow. You're an amazing doctor.
Bro, thanks for the invitation.
I'm coming for that checkup on Tuesday.
Wait, it was unpaid.
By the time this is aired, I would have had the checkup, and hopefully everything will be looking good. But I exercise a lot. I eat an apple every day, which is supposed to keep you away.
Yeah.
So
No, I expect you to be good. I don't expect issues with you just by looking.
I look healthy, huh?
But we need to confirm.
And also, gentlemen, remember, the good doctor says if your waistline is more than 102 centimeters long, that's going to affect your... So
That's
check your
verifiable, actually.
Check your weight.
That's
Check your weight. Gob is good. Gob, your size what? 30, 32, 30? Waist size, yeah. 31. But those are inches, right?
Inches, yeah. So you have to convert that centimeters.
No, shoes, you're okay.
Your waist. But otherwise, you are not a problem.
Gob is a skinny guy.
You
We're talking about if your waistline
have a problem.
is more than 102 centimeters long, it's going to affect the strength of your erection.
Yes.
The potency of your erection. I don't know why Olsen also came to mind.
No, I saw him recently. I think he's fine.
It's okay. He'll be happy to hear that.
He's fine.
Gentlemen, ladies, remember to click on that subscribe button and also follow Dr. Mujajati on Facebook. It's Dr. Aaron Mujajati, right? Nothing else on the...
Yeah.
Okay, and he's also got a very... I was driving through... That's Rhodes Park, right? Mm-hmm. Where the hospital is.
Yes, Rhodes Park.
I was driving through...
Omelo Mumba Road.
Obelomum. I was driving through Rhodes Park and I see this colorful hospital and I remembered CarePeak. I went to say hi to him. It's a really beautiful place. You can check it out as well. CarePeak. A lot is happening there and I'm going to do my checkup. By the time you watch this, I'll have done my checkup. Doc, thanks for coming through.
You take care, my brother.
All right, have a lovely day.